like, I know that that's the circle up there on top, but I don't know all the buildings and everything, and like, I know that okay, so that used to be a pool, right?
The pool is right back here.
Oh, okay.
This was a railroad house.
Oh, okay.
And this was the railroad section, Camas Prairie. And this is actually, it's called the roundhouse. It's where they kept the engines in the winter so that they didn't freeze up. And,
oh, wow.
And this was cat shop. And this is a auxiliary power plant in case the lights went out. And this was a truck shop. And this was a carpenter shop. And this is where they worked on railroad cars.
Holy cow.
I can't see, but one of these bunkhouses here was a snake house where they put drunks when they couldn't go to work. And this was the cookhouse. And these were all bunkhouses along here. And this bunkhouse here,
you sure you don't want
before they built the community hall, that was the community hall. Of course, this is a drugstore.
Oh, that was a drugstore.
Yeah, and the post office was in it, and they sold all kinds of goodies. And this was the grocery store.
Oh, wow.
And this building in behind the grocery store was a schoolhouse.
This back here is
And
beautiful.
this is a tennis court now. It used to be our ball field
Oh.
when I was going to school. Of course, that's the community hall.
The what?
This building here was the original warehouse with the office in it. And all the railroad stuff went to camp out of this building. All the groceries and everything.
Oh, wow.
And can't see the buildings up here, but there was 3 or 4 buildings up this draw. One of them was a superintendent's house, and originally the old hospital was up there. And
You can't even tell it now. We had all of it.
then, and nowadays the office is here, and this was all parking lot. These
That's a
look like logs here, or slabs, which they cut up for firewood to heat the shops
That's our.
and the bunkhouses.
Wow.
And in recent years,
Is it hand dug?
this disappeared, and the swimming hole was there.
Oh.
The
Yeah, we had a
new
well
one.
put in
The old one was back up here, and it was just a dirt field.
And so what year do you think that this picture was taken?
I would say it was taken in the early 50s,
That's beautiful.
Yeah?
because this was only 2 or 3 years old, the community hall, when it burnt
One
down.
over there and one over there.
And then they built a new one.
So how long were the houses in the circle? How long were they there? Like from when were they built?
They were built in 1926.
26.
Mhm.
Wow.
What's the,
And all these buildings were
We
built in 26 and 27.
had
There used to be
raccoon helping in
A
the
sawmill
The food.
set, well, this is a sawdust pile, is it not?
Yeah, it looks like it.
You know, that's where the sawmill was, and they sawed the lumber to build these buildings.
Sawed it right there.
A lot of it. Some of it, like the big rafters and stuff, came from warehouses on the coast.
Oh, wow.
They were dug fur. And
That'd be good shooting.
this is what they call the Y landing. You see the
You know, I used to
railroad
like
cars
it.
there.
I thought they was
there
the
was three
prettiest things.
tracks went up there, and they loaded logs up there.
Then I seen them with they got
And,
hold of a chicken
And so you went to school,
and just pulled.
and
it
did you
apart.
live in headquarters?
Yes, I lived way over here.
Yeah.
And
And your dad worked?
yeah, he worked in a sawmill at Camp X, and he worked on the bull gang in headquarters.
I know up there in Cardiff.
And the
that
bull
house
gang's
up
the one
there,
that cut all the firewood
Well, we did
and
it
stuff for
that
the
time.
shops.
But
Wow.
I kept hearing this noise.
So did you live in the woods, or was your house out by the
No,
road?
there was 3 town sites.
Noises.
You can't see it. This picture just shows the original headquarters.
Right.
And over here there was
Probably half
a
an hour.
line of houses, and then there was 2 town sites above that. And the houses were stacked up the hill there.
Wow.
But when we moved there, there was 500 people lived there.
One day I went up
Wow.
And
and just sat
it was just like one big family. They'd have a dance every Saturday night in the community hall.
Well, one day.
Oh, wow.
We were at.
Yeah.
See the
But it was,
And where was the schoolhouse?
the schoolhouse is right in that white building.
Out there that.
Yeah.
There was two rooms,
But he had corn.
6, 7, 8 in one, and 4, 5, and 6 in one. And then there was a building back here that the lower grades went in.
I said, what is that?
Wow.
So he got a stick, and that's what he did.
I don't know what else there is to say there.
That's awesome.
These yellow things here, those are speeders. That's what they took the men out to camp. See, Potlatch had their own railroad system. And they took their men out to camp and brought them back in on them
You can't believe
speeders.
the humming.
So do you remember them building the railroads and all of that, or?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
The first
And if there's
first
hell out there, the
job I had
railroads
was
fly away.
surveying, or helping the surveyors. I drove stakes.
Oh.
Yes, they-
And how old were you?
I was 17.
Oh, that thing
Oh,
there
wow.
is what you
Okay.
had out there.
They canned me after 2 weeks because I was too young and I had to wait till I was 18.
Oh.
But then when I was 18, I did the same job for a couple of years. in the
And you
summer.
drove the stakes?
Now, there's lots of deer.
Yeah, the surveying stakes.
Oh, the surveying stakes. Okay. For the, okay.
And that's what we were doing, surveying railroad.
Wow. And so the railroad just went for miles, I mean, for ever and ever, right?
Yeah, that's the only way you could got logs into headquarters was by rail.
Mm.
And they had one, I remember Camp 14, Camp 60, Camp 62, Camp 11. They all brought logs into headquarters. And they parked them right there.
It's just right here.
And then the
Yeah, right. It was-
Camas Prairie came in and picked up 30 cars in the morning and 30 cars in the afternoon
Shot it.
and took them to
What do the
Lewiston.
neighbors say about shooting around?
Man.
They don't say anything. They don't shoot though.
And so where were you born?
Well, Bob.
I was born in
he
Barstow,
shoots
California.
rats,
Oh. And so then your dad,
Then we moved back to
but I
Oklahoma.
can't say.
I went to school in Oklahoma, Arkansas, Texas, New Mexico, and then we came here and I finished school here.
Last
Wow.
year I shot my deer out in the woods.
wow. And then you worked for Potlatch from the time you were 18?
Yeah, actually I was about,
See, we got
when
one
I
of those
started I was
bushes
about 16.
up
Like I
there.
just work in the summertime.
Mm-hmm.
But when I was 18, I started
That
working
purple bush, that's the same as the
steady.
driveway.
Wow.
until I retired, 40-some years.
Wow. When did you buy the property in Cardiff?
1961.
Well, I'm glad I got to meet you. I've heard
Wow.
about you, but
Yeah.
And then you and Evelyn got married what year?
In 65
65.
in Boise.
Oh, you got married in Boise.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's where I was living at the time.
Yeah. And how did you guys meet?
Tiny and Denny. Or
Yeah.
Denny. Yeah.
Yeah. Because you knew Danny from working.
Yeah, well, I was his friend for years. We used to hunt and fish together. And
That's my grandson.
Mm-hmm.
There. That's my great
one
granddaughter.
other thing, right up in here was a water tank. Furnished water for the whole town.
Wow. How many gallons do you think? Do you know?
Oh, several thousand.
Several
It
thousand.
was a wooden tank, and it furnished water. Like I say, there was town site over here, and there was a couple of people lived up here
Shot a turkey.
that worked
Never
for
have.
Camas Prairie.
I could have.
And,
They're not that great.
but that supplied the water, and the water came out of wells originally. But then the wells couldn't keep up with it, so it started taking out of
But they were young.
the creek that run through here.
Gaylon shot that big
And,
one up there.
they run it
behind
through
the house there,
A
Carter's.
water plant,
And,
purify it.
Well, I fixed it up and I put it in a bag.
But I would
made
say
company
that
up
picture
for
was
hunting
taken in
season.
50
And,
or 51, maybe 52.
They ate it and they thought it was store bought.
Wow.
They didn't know that.
So by the time my parents came up, well, yeah, because so my parents were already up there before that picture was taken.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, did you know by chance? Because I think, did you know